Riccardo is the director of the ResearchHub Foundation. He's also a third-year bioengineering PhD candidate at the Polytechnic of Milan, working on the development of a point-of-care health device for oral screening via salivary diagnostics. Very interesting. He also has published several peer-reviewed articles in international journals and received multiple academic awards, so we're really excited to hear from him.
Thank you. Cool. Excited to be here, Berlin. So, yeah, a bit about me before we start talking about ResearchHub. So, as I said, third-year PhD student, still in academia. That's what basically drove me into DeSci, because I was facing the problems myself in the lab, especially reproducibility has been a big issue for me. I was trying to reproduce papers that were not working. I was questioning myself. I was like, maybe I'm not that good. Turned out the papers were actually not that great. So, yeah, that brought me into DeSci 2.5 years ago. 3 years ago, basically. Big thank you to VitaDAO. VitaDAO actually got me into the space with the first symposium, which is back in October 2021, I think. And then from there, started to explore the space. I found out about ResearchHub. I joined as an editor, and then started to do a bunch of other stuff. And then I got involved, inside, management team. And now I just started this year as a director. So, yeah, enough about me. Let's talk a bit more about ResearchHub. What is ResearchHub? So ResearchHub is, as we like to call it, like a modern-day preprint server. So it's like your go-to place if you want to discuss articles, if you want to collaborate with other researchers. It's kind of like a Reddit-style forum where you can talk about researchers with other peers. One thing that we're really passionate about is incentives. And so I'm going back to this concept. I'm gonna go back to this concept of incentives during the talk, because even Benji today mentioned incentives, how good, how important they are for science, and turned out they are really important. Another thing that we like to do through incentives is accelerating the pace of scientific research. So, many of you are familiar with the concept of acceleration, so, making progress happen faster. We want to do that for science, and we think, ResearchHub could potentially play a role in that through collaboration and incentives. So this is how I like to show, how the platform actually looks like. So if you go to ResearchHub, this is how you'll, potentially see the homepage. So again, Reddit style, you see upvotes, downvotes, comments, and so on. We have some specific features that are, peculiar to ResearchHub. So we have different kind of contents. We have papers, posts, questions, like you would post questions on ResearchGate, trying to get some answers. And then we have bounties, which is a pretty cool concept, borrowed from the software space, where you can put together a little amount of money for someone to come in, complete the task, and get rewarded for that task that you need an answer for example, you need some help in your research. So on top of that, we also do funding. We started with the first 2 cohorts of funding. So we funded some AthenaDAO projects. We're really happy to see that collaboration going. We funded some other projects. So we do micro funding, so like 5K, because for bigger projects, you could go to other players in the space. But we wanted to get that initial, kickoff, that kickstart on ResearchHub for people to just explore ideas and publish that in the open on ResearchHub. We also offer you the possibility to write a paper. So you can upload papers that have been posted, but you can also write your own paper and publish it through our lab notebook. While writing a paper, it's important to keep track of your references. So in case you need a reference manager, we also built that. It's in beta, so it's like a very bare-bone structure, but you can also keep track of your references on ResearchHub through our reference manager. And lastly, I want to drive your attention to that sub-tab, because that's what I'm going to be talking about today, which is the peer review tab. So that tab basically shows the peer reviews that have been posted by our community members on preprints or already published papers, so like post-publication peer reviews on ResearchHub. We want you to basically build your profile. It's important for us to see you complete your profile, have all of your achievements within your profile of ResearchHub. So you'll see your bounties, the completed one, the one that you opened. So for example, if you want to fund something on ResearchHub, will all pop up in your profile. We're also revamping this to take into account, you'll see a reputation score up there. That's only a ResearchHub reputation score. We're updating that with some in real life kind of metrics. So for example, your H-index, stuff like that, coming from traditional scientific metrics. So we want you to build your profile, because with your profile, you can basically earn on ResearchHub user knowledge. So this is a cool example from a guy in our community. He had some data. He wanted someone basically to help him analyze some data with specific tools and so on. He posted a question, and he got someone come in and help with this task. So again, pretty cool stuff happening on ResearchHub right now. Today, I wanted to talk about a peer review. So I think when I think about the problems that we're facing in science and academia, there's 3 themes that are recurring. One is about money, so it's expensive to, unfortunately, publish, read, interact with science in general. It is expensive, and it shouldn't be too, that expensive. Another one is time, so it takes a lot of time to get to publication. I don't know how many of you, publish a paper, but, it can take up to 6 months, 1 year, even 2 years for like big journals, which is insane. And the last one is reproducibility. I talked about that already, but most of the papers, unfortunately, don't reproduce. So today, I'll be talking about the first 2. And in relation to that, this is kind of like a very simplified version of like the journey, a journey of a researcher that, you start from taxpayer dollars, they go to funding bodies. The funding bodies basically, receive applications from researchers. That takes some time to screen through the applications. Then the researcher receives the funding. After that, the researchers actually have to do the experiments. That takes some additional time. But once that's done, and the researcher wants to submit the paper to a journal, that should take, I don't want to say almost no time, but very little time. So that's where we want to act, on that portion there, where there's the recruitment for peer reviewers from journals, and the publishing of the paper on the journal itself. Same journey, but for money, because again, I was talking about the 2 problems, money and time. Again, in that corner of the screen, we have 2 numbers which are quite far apart one from each other. One is how much you pay to publish a paper in a journal. The other one is how much the peer reviewers get. So that discrepancy is quite big, and we're trying to do something to reduce that gap. So that said, we started on ResearchHub in August to launch this initiative called Financialize Peer Review. Basically, what we decided to do is, okay, the peer reviewers should get paid. Why don't we start? Where are we not, the one to make the first step? And so we decided to basically start this initiative where we pay $150 to anyone that comes on ResearchHub and leaves a peer review to a paper or a preprint. And so this is an example. This is one of our community members that left a peer review on a paper on ResearchHub, combining what he called a peer review panel, so comments, general comments that you leave to a paper, with some inline comments. So we do allow inline commenting, which I think is pretty cool, because normally when you go through a paper, you want to leave comments that are specific to a part of the paper. And so what you can do on ResearchHub is basically highlight on the PDF that part of the paper and leave a comment, in addition to some general comments on your peer review. So it's really easy to go from basically a preprint to a peer review on ResearchHub. The way we do it is we pull peer reviews, we pull preprints daily from bioRxiv. We have a system that every day pulls the preprints from bioRxiv. And then what happens is we want to signal from the community on which peer reviews should be, which preprints should be peer reviewed first. The way we do it is basically once a preprint gets 5 upvotes or more, a bounty is automatically posted on ResearchHub. So it's $150 that gets attached to that preprint for someone to come in and leave a peer review. Then what happens? Peer reviewers come in, leave a peer review. We have an internal team of editors that span across several expertise that will assess your peer review, ask you for additional comments, additional details if necessary, and then once they verify that a peer review is legit, the content is good, we will, as the foundation, award the bounty and get you the amount of the bounty in your hands in your ResearchHub profile. Some of the results so far, have been pretty encouraging. Again, we started in August. It's our platform has about 1,000 users every week, so we are not expecting huge numbers. But this has proven to be pretty effective because we've seen a lot of people being really interested, specifically in some fields which will resonate a bit with the audience since it's a bio audience. We're seeing that most of the fields being peer-reviewed, also because we're pulling preprints from bioRxiv every day, are actually from the biospace. So you'll see biology, you'll see neuroscience, medicine, immunology, and so on. So there's definitely a niche in the biospace on ResearchHub that are passionate about doing peer reviews and living commentary on preprints. So to wrap it up, key takeaways from this peer review initiative that we started in August, again, 3 quarters back, 9 months ago, we have received more than 600 peer reviews, which is about 2 peer reviews a day. We have shortened that time that I said it was an actual problem getting that time to be so big to 16 days, which is quite below average for the bounty to be posted to the bounty to be awarded for a successful peer review. And also, we have started to pay peer reviewers, earning about 330 RSC on average, which is about $150 current price for the peer reviews. And as I said, most of them are coming from bioRxiv preprints. So we're also being pretty successful in accelerating at the pace at which people can get their preprints out, get some feedback, potentially make their paper better before it gets published. So hopefully helping accelerate the pace of scientific research through peer reviews on ResearchHub. If you're interested to learn more about a peer review initiative, to join a community, to just stay updated with what we're doing, the first link is to sign up to ResearchHub. We're active on socials, so you'll find us on LinkedIn and Twitter. And if you want to get in the fold of actually where the action is, feel free to join our Discord. We're always happy to welcome people in our community. Thank you.